Meet the Transfer St. John's edition. Let's be Johnnies for the next 20 minutes. Cart, Rick Pitino, or as I affectionately refer to him as Ricky P. Rickety Pickett is back, and he has a very, very nice transfer class, a class that I believe includes the best transfer player in the entire country from this class. We'll see when we get there. St. John's ended up 7th on our top 20 transfer classes rankings. We ranked all of them individually. You, me, Brian, Ralph, Riley Davis. I had St. John's 6th, so that feels about right for me. Where did you have St. John's in your rankings, Cart?
It's a good question. Where did I have them?
You didn't.
I did. I forgot St. John's.
Was that oversight, or did you intentionally think they're not a top 20 transfer class in the country?
No, that was oversight.
Okay. Just
My
wanted to make
apologies.
sure.
My apologies. That's unacceptable.
So in hindsight, St. John's probably would have finished in the top 3 on our transfer rankings if Carter just remembered.
Listen, sometimes, it's not my fault. They were forgettable last season, okay?
I mean, I was going to say, we can say it's your fault, but like also be more memorable. Like if Rick Pitino had earned your respect, then you don't forget them, right? You would never forget a Kentucky.
Right. The thing is, like, one of the most memorable moments outside of Kadary was him fake writing a check for Mark Pope. So, like, I was distracted by that.
So it feels right to me, though. So in essence, this didn't hurt them that much, but they're 7th on the list. Quick question before we go player by player through the 4-man transfer class and give our projections. Did Rick Pitino do what he set out to do with this class?
I say yes. He got Kadary Richmond. He got the star. I think that's what it is. I wouldn't be surprised if you said no because they were in on a lot of other guys. Like Norchad was part of that. I think they're even on guys like Wula Poplar. But I would say overall yes because I think that they got Kadary Richmond.
It's a complicated pass-fail, yes or no, for me because they definitely failed in getting a star big man, and I feel like that was a part of what they tried.
Right, like the Cliff smoke was evident early. That never worked out.
So I think for that reason, like they thought they were getting Cliff, they wanted Cliff, they didn't get Cliff. It has to be a fail. Like they didn't do what they set out to do. With that said, I think they also set out to just get more athletic. Like what did Rick Pitino say last year in the middle of the season in post game? Like I hate my team.
My guys are fat.
I hate my team. They're slow. They can't move. So now he got a bunch of guys who can move and are big time athletes. So I think in general, he did what he wants with his roster. They just whiffed on the big positional target at center. And for that reason, they didn't do what they tried to do. What's one thing that could have improved this transfer class? I feel like we said it. Cliff Amoria.
Yeah. I think. And the thing is, when I look back on it, I might go towards fail. It's like they had the lead with Cliff too. Like it was like Cliff was in the fold by all reports, and they lost him. But yeah, they could have got Cliff. That would have been, or just another big besides.
Cliff. my answer is Cliff. You should have gotten Cliff. You didn't get Cliff. If you get Cliff, honestly, if Cliff is the big on this transfer class, I think we're saying this is the best transfer class in the country, like by itself.
Yeah, probably.
So that the difference between 7th and 1st is you still have a hole at center. Let's go player by player. The guy who is stepping into the hole at center, Vincent Iwuchukwu, 7'1", former big time recruit from USC. He transfers out of the program that Eric Musselman is taking over. Vince Iwuchukwu had the heart issue years ago at this point, and he was the first player that had cardiac arrest, I believe, at a USC practice. So it's good to know he's made a full recovery, but he has not been the player he was projected to be out of high school. Last season, 15 minutes a game, he averaged 5 and 3.8 rebounds. He could be a star, a starter, a role player, or a bench guy. What do you think Vince will be for St. John's next year?
I feel like you got to say he's going to be the starter, right?
Yeah, what are the other options you think on this team if it's not Vince?
If it isn't Vince, they could possibly.
Maker.
Ejiofor, like go small.
You could do Kaman Maker. I mean, he's a 7'1" true freshman. You got Ruben Prey. Ruben Prey is a 6'10" Portuguese man.
I think Vince will be the center on this team, and I actually think there's something there. There's something there. He's 7'1". He's athletic. I doubt right now, like I don't think he can catch the ball or anything like that. But like maybe there's some work that can be done with him. But he is what Rick wanted. He's tall, athletic, and fast.
There's something there. Right now, he can't catch the ball though. I mean, that's a great back and forth. Yeah, I think like, look, you much rather would have had Cliff or Norchad or just a proven good high major starter at center, right? Nobody's denying that. With that said, if you can't get the proven high major star, I think I'd rather roll the dice on Vince on versus some other options. Like this is a guy who is still a pedigree talent that has some very clear pointed reasons for why it didn't work at USC. Year one, he had the health issue. Year two, USC was a disaster. Nobody looked good. So I believe, man, I really do believe that he can be a good high major center. And I mean, we mentioned that Pitino wanted to get more athletic. Isn't that the whole thing with Vince? Like
Yeah,
he is a center Pitino will love
Right.
stylistically.
Yeah, he was like Joe Soriano was like a plotter, big, like powerful center. This is more of like a finesse, fast, up and down, like one lanky center type, which is what Rick wants.
All in all, I think like I, as a fan, I'm going to enjoy watching St. John's about 11 times more than I did last season.
Oh,
So
only 11?
yeah, 11. Next on the list is Aaron Scott from North Texas, 6'7", 30 minutes a game last year, 11 points a game. He shot 37% from three. This feels somewhere between starter and really, really good role player to me. He's definitely going to help St. John's. What do you think his role is, and what's your breakdown of this game?
He's a starter for me. I'm an Aaron Scott stan. I actually really wanted him. I really wanted State to reach out to him and give him a call. I think that he has the size. I think that he's shown the ability to shoot the ball. He does a little bit of everything. He rebounds the ball well, too, for his size. I mean, he's had rebounding games, 11, 12, 10, 8, 8. Like, he's a rebounder. I think he defends, too. He can do a little bit more. Like, I don't know. I'm a big fan of Aaron Scott's game. I think he's going to fit really well into this system. And he's not the best player in this class, but I think him and Ricky P might be the most like match made in heaven in this class. Like
Really?
I think that his size and his ability and his athleticism might go hand in hand with what Rick's trying to do with this team.
Really? You think you know a guy, Cart? Like you think you know your friends, and then they just whip out, I'm a huge Aaron Scott stan on you. Had no idea.
I'm not proud of why I am either. Can I say why I am?
Why are you?
I did something that I'm not proud of.
What did you do?
Rashad Phillips tweeted about him.
Oh no. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But he was kind of right.
I'm gonna have to stomach this one. Look, I think Aaron Scott's a good player. I think he is absolutely one of the top six, if not five, guys on the St. John's team. With that said, I am going to say he's a role player. I think even if he starts for St. John's, to me, he's kind of a role player being stretched to start. I think there are higher pedigree talent guys on this team that if they live up to what they could be, would be ahead of him. And one of them is Zuby Ejiofor. And I know that's kind of gross because Zuby Ejiofor is not really a shooter, but you want to get athletic. Zuby Ejiofor is a guy who can guard. I think there's a world where we see Zuby and Vince in the front court. Aaron Scott's kind of the sixth man extraordinaire making shots. Won't be surprised at all if he starts. Very good ad. If this is your third ad in your transfer class rocks. But I'm going to stick with role player because I think that's what they're going to ask him to do in his first year at St. John's. Next up, Deivon Smith. I believe it's Deivon, right? It's not Davion.
I think it's Deivon, yeah.
I believe it's Deivon Smith. Deivon Smith from Utah. Not only did St. John's get Kadary Richmond, they got Kadary Richmond at home. They got Deivon Smith. 13 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists last year. The one thing with Deivon is he actually made shots from three. Now, I don't think I buy for a second that that's going to continue. And this is his fourth stop in 5 years. He started at Mississippi State, played 2 years at Georgia Tech. Those 3 seasons, Mississippi State, Georgia Tech again, he couldn't make a shot at all. Carter. He shot 27% from three, 37% from the floor, 55% from the free throw line. I mean, there was nothing he had done production-wise in his first 3 seasons that signaled guy who shoots 41% from three and is one of the best guards in the country was coming. Then he got to Utah and he was just that. He made 41% on 2.5 attempts per game. 7 assists was more than double what he had done in the past. It was a stellar season. The question is, who's the real Deivon Smith? And I guess the second question is, how does he fit with Kadary Richmond, who is definitely a star? What's Deivon's role on this team?
So the thing why Deivon was so successful at Utah to me was that, like, one, he was high usage, ball in his hand, surrounded by a bunch of shooters, right? Like, Utah just had guys that sprayed from everywhere, and it was able to, one, he was able to get his assist numbers up by getting guys shots, and also he was able to get open shots himself, given the spacing that he was able to have. I don't know if that same spacing is going to be available on this St. John's team. So I have questions about how the backcourt of him and Kadary is going to work. But the thing is, like, I think they're gonna find some ways to make it work, and he's gonna be a starter.
I think that's what makes Aaron Scott more important. Now I'm reconsidering my starting lineup, but you have to have at least 2, if not 3, shooters around Deivon Smith and Kadary Richmond. Now, if he just shoots well again, which he did last season,
But
if
he
Deivon
is.
if Deivon Smith just shoots well again, there's no concerns at all. And this is like the best backcourt in the country. But to me, that's a big if because he's never been a high volume guy. And then you look at who they want to start next to him, like RJ Luis might be the starting 3 car. RJ Luis is not a shooter. So that would terrify me a little bit. They're going to have to lean into defense. But the bottom line is this: Kadary and Deivon as a pairing, you won't find any more guards in the country that can do a little bit of everything. Like, I mean, you could have a night where Deivon has 11 assists and Kadary has 20, and then the next night it flips. And I don't know that there's a team in the country that defensively can match up with that. Like, you might have one great perimeter defender. Most teams don't have 2. So whoever teams choose to kind of stick the second guy on is going to be able to feast. Fit, I have a lot of questions on. Talent, I don't. I think this is a great ad, and he's a starter for sure, not a star because I'm concerned about the 3-point shooting coming back to regression. Then we have Kadary Richmond. I said it at the top of the video. I believe this is the best player that transferred to a new school this season. I think he's the very, very top one. 16.7 rebounds, 5 assists at Seton Hall last year. I thought Seton Hall should have been a tournament team. 2.2 steals a game. Felt like more often than not, he was just the best player on the floor every single night in the Big East, even in games against UConn that was loaded with NBA talent. I think Kadary and Rick Pitino are a match made in heaven. And not only is he a star, he's a superstar. I think this is a first-team All-American. I think you'd be wise to maybe bet some Kadary Richmond National Player of the Year futures because nobody is talking about him as if he's one of the 5 best players in college basketball, and I think they should be.
Yeah, I think you said it best. I really got no much to add to that. He's a star. He's first-team All-American level player, and he's incredible. He's incredible, and the fact that people don't mention him enough for my liking is a little odd because he's a special player. Like, very, very special. And I think he's going to have a incredible season, certified star, all that.
They really need Simeon Wilcher to be good and make shots.
Yes.
If that could happen, I would really buy this team. If he's kind of unplayable again, then I'm a little and same Brady Dunlap too. Like Brady Dunlap only shot 30% from 3. You need those 2 guys, whether they're starters or off the bench, to like be proven shooters. And then I love this team. They could have done well. Now that we're going back to like the class itself, they could have added like a knockdown dead eye shooter. Not even a big, right? Just get a pure sniper, and then we're like all the way in on this team. So it's really talented.
They were in for Kobe Bryant, but
really talented. But I think this is why they're 7th and not 1st on the transfer list because you have questions about how they fit together. Quick superlatives: who's the best player at the end of the season from this group?
Kadary Richmond.
Who's the most improved?
Aaron Scott.
I'm gonna say Vince because like from what they get when they get him to the end of the year, I think he'll be a good Big East starting center, and Pitino will help him get there. And then final question: hot take. Give me a transfer hot take for St. John's.
Vincent averages more blocks than Cliff Omarui.
Wow, that's fun. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't believe for a second that happens, but I like that.
I don't think I do either, Greg. I don't think I do.
Just give me 1 second. I gotta do something really
Are you
quick.
doing the thing?
I got your voicemail. You didn't pick up.
What what the hell's going on? What? My
Oh
phone is
damn.
tweaking. Hold on a second. No, wait. I'll call you.
Oh, you called. Hey, Cart. I'm doing a live recording of a video with you right now. Are you sitting down?
Yes,
Can you please remain seated for the next 10 seconds?
sure.
Thank you. Kadary Richmond wins National Player of the Year and leads St. John's to the Elite Eight.
Gregory, you can't do this and then just walk off. That's not allowed. That's not allowed.
Cart, you know what I love about you?
That I'm handsome?
You're reliable. I can count on you. Honestly, you remind me of Aaron Henry a little bit. Remember when, like, their back was against the wall, nothing was going right, and man just showed up every day. He didn't make excuses. There were no problems, there were just solutions.
Sounds like me.
That's you. And it also reminds me of Duncan Mechanical Solutions, because if you're looking for quality furnace repair, look no further than the heating and air experts that you can trust. Comfort and quality are their standard. They're an HVAC company that serves Northeast Indiana and Southern Michigan, whether it's heating and air conditioning, plumbing, kitchen and bath remodeling, or emergency services when you need them most. Duncan Mechanical Solutions has reliable service that you can count on. Cart, remember when your basement almost exploded?
I remember when my basement almost exploded. I remember when my furnace itself was acting funny. I remember when my AC was acting funny. I wish I had Duncan in my back pocket. I wouldn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been anywhere in northern Indiana or southern Michigan that hasn't been perfectly cool or perfectly warm, depending on when the day called for. And that's because of Duncan Mechanical Solutions. They are the presenting sponsor for the month of July. Shout out to Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Go to duncanmechanicalsolutions.com to learn more.